Hi, I'm John Page, and I'm here to tell you about my new guitar, the Ashburn. And it's a very special guitar for me. I'm very proud of it. But before I tell you about it, I'd like to tell you kind of where it started, where it came from. My first guitar, the first guitar designed was actually the Bullet, and it was this entry-level guitar. It was for kids, or maybe kids like me that I started off from, where you couldn't really afford the guitar you wanted, that pristine instrument on the music wall, but you could start here, and it still said this cool name on it. It said Fender on it. And I went from there to designing guitars for Fender for many, many years, to ultimately co-founding the Fender Custom Shop. And then my guitars went even more expensive. All of a sudden now we're creating these beautiful hand-built pieces, and pieces that were gorgeous instruments, wonderful guitars, but that were out of the reach for most people. And after a really wonderful career at Fender, I realized it was time for me to move on. And ultimately, I started to create my own guitars, my own creations, John Page guitars, and these hand-built custom guitars that I was extremely proud of. And I took all the lessons that I learned at Fender, and all the lessons I learned from I guess I would call it the historic figures that I worked with in my life, sharing an office with people like Freddie Tavares for many, many years, and Leo Fender's first engineer, and all the artists I was able to work with, and seeing the things that I loved about Fender, and at the same time, all the things that I didn't like about Fender. I learned that too, what I didn't like about a Fender guitar, but what I thought was cool about a Gibson guitar. This is like the first production guitar that I'm making with my name on it. It has all the design features that I have incorporated into all my hand-built guitars. The fit, the feel, the finish, and I'll go through those points, but just overall, it's just got all the things I've tried to put in my guitars from day one. And my design styling has always been what I called uniquely familiar. When you look at my guitars, you go, oh, it's comfortable. It's this really comfortably familiar thing, but it's different, it's unique, it's not the same, is it? And that's my design style. I started off when I was playing guitar, which I played out for many years. I did it primarily as a writer. I wanted to feel my guitars as well as hear them. So a lot of the design components that are in this guitar are about feeling the vibrations, feeling the notes. Most of the time when I was writing, I never even plugged my guitar in. I just played it because and if it was acoustic enough and it was alive enough, then it would inspire me to write. And so a lot of those features, I've developed into these guitars. One of the key features in that is the neck joint I do on the Ashburn, which utilizes these 4 oversized metal threaded bolts going into metal threaded inserts in the neck. That coupling of the neck to the body with those materials does something to the tonal transference between the neck and the body, which no other mounting method does. It adds a very unique complexity to the overtones and the harmonics, and it just adds this level of, I consider it magic to it, because when I would play and write, that kind of magic was there, this sparkle on top that most guitars don't have because of that. The fret dots are bass justified. I do that for a couple of reasons. One, because I really do like the visibility that's improved when it's on the player's side, visible side of the fretboard. And in addition to that, I love the aesthetic value of it. The tone that came out of Jimi Hendrix's Stratocaster, and nobody's going to say that it didn't come primarily from his hands and his soul. That is the gift. But one of the things that is also very key to that is the fact that he was left-handed playing a righty Strat. So this pickup was tilted a different way on his guitars because it was righty. So by tilting the traditional S-style guitar, tilting this pickup, you get a little more beef out of this high end. It adds more thickness, more girth. One of the things that I was always looking for in all the Fender style guitars I designed when I was at Fender, one of the things I didn't like, that ice pick high, that two cutting. I love the cut, but I didn't like it if it didn't have enough chest and enough bottom, enough mid. I want to feel it. I want a little more gut to it. So by doing this, I get a better thickness out of that guitar. The Ashburn production model uses the same gears I use, which are a Goto staggered gear. They are staggered as opposed to just being the normal single level or consistent level gear, so that we can keep a nice consistent break angle behind the nut. If you use normally all these posts would be the same height, and you have to use multiple string trees to get this break angle appropriate. What it boils down to is there's certain things that make a guitar real, that aren't topical, that aren't hip, and that aren't necessarily anything other than this is a real guitar. And that's what my goal was in this, was to just make a real guitar that I designed with all the things I've learned over my life. And that neck shape is part of it. This is just a really nice medium C shape. It's not too big, it's not too small, but the mass in this neck helps transfer to the mass in this body with this neck bolting system, and it makes a very spectacular instrument, a real guitar. The difference between this production model of Ashburn and the ones I hand make pretty much is just that I'm not making it, but it's all my design in it. It's the same bridge I use. It's the same keys I use. It's got special pickups that I spec'd out, the new Bloodline JP1 pickups that are in it. It's got this beautiful, magical, chimey, chesty tone. And the back pickup is overwound, so you get a little more beef out of that when you go to lead position. The middle pickup is reverse wound for noise canceling in positions 2 and 4. It's just overall a really beautiful instrument that's a culmination of, wow, close to 40 years of designing guitars. I really hope you get a chance to check it out. It's part of me, it's part of who I am, and it's making the guitars that I make more available to more people. And I hope you check it out. Thank you.